What's up, guys? Let me get this out of the way from the beginning. I didn't pay for this pair of shoes. Acme gave them to me in exchange for featuring them in this handmade shoe review and comparison series. And if you think I'm biased, watch the video and make up your mind for yourself. Let's get started. This is Acme Shoemaker's Marvel range. This is the third installment of the Chinese Handmade Shoemaker review and comparison series. I've already reviewed Yearn Shoemaker and Blazing Wonders. This is going to be the final video before next week's video where I do a side-by-side comparison and give you my final thoughts and conclusions about what is the right shoemaker for you or who I think the best shoemaker overall is. Let's get right into the details here. This is the Acme Marvel medium round last in a charcoal gray patina on a double monk strap model 7137. This shoe retails for $950 and it's $60 additional if you want the lasted shoe trees. This patina is applied to a crust calfskin from Conceria Zonta. Let's take a quick step back and actually talk about who Acme Shoemaker is. Acme Shoemaker started in 2020. They disrupted the industry of bespoke shoes a bit because whether you bought a pair of ready-to-wear, made-to-order, made-to-measure, or a pair of their full bespoke, you got the same exact quality, craftsmanship, execution, and the overall delivery of the shoe was exactly the same, except it was on a ready-to-wear last. And that started at $1,250. Prices have changed a bit, but the value has not. This is a fully handmade shoe. That means it's hand-lasted, hand-welted, hand-finished, and they hand-stitched the outsoles as well, even on their Marvel range. Some of the key factors here is that you're getting the same quality components, same quality leather, and the overall construction and execution, the integrity of those points are the same as if you were to go to their main line. Some of the key differentiating factors between this and their main line, which costs about twice as much, is that on the main line you're going to get a blind welded waist. You'll get a much higher stitch density around the outsole. The leather will be more limited in its use, meaning you'll get like one pair of shoes from a hide, whereas on the Marvel range, you'll probably get like 2 or 3 pairs from that same high quality leather hide. One of the other key differences between the Marvel and the main line from Acme is Marvel has its own lasts. Marvel is really supposed to be a much more broadly appealing line of shoes, specifically around the lasts and the overall patterns. These aren't as exaggerated or as aggressive lasts or pattern or styles. This is something that should be able to fit a much more broad audience and customer base. On that note, let's talk about the fit. This is a UK 7.5, and that's the same size that I have in all of my pairs from Acme. Some of my pairs are modified last or made to measure, but overall, it's always a UK 7.5, and that's what this pair is. This fits extremely well. The break-in was a breeze, as it always has been with Acme. 1 or 2 wears, and it's already beginning to take its shape around your foot, and it's an extremely comfortable break-in process. The one fit note that I will call out here is the instep. Now, that's really the fitting problem that I have in most shoes, so it's not a surprise here, but I'll talk about this a little bit more later on. Ultimately, I had to add an additional punch hole in the monk strap so that it would fit my instep properly, and I wouldn't have to overstretch the leather or the elastic that secures the buckle to the upper. Overall, I would say the Marvel range is pretty much, right down the middle, true to size. An additional data point here is I bought a pair of Acme Marvel Oxfords for my brother. This was really the first kind of upper echelon handmade shoe that he had, and we went with his true to size fit as well, and it fit extremely well. He absolutely loves them. That's probably a different story for another day, but just kind of 2 data points there that really kind of accentuate the fact that this is a true to size fit. Let's talk about some of the details and the overall execution of what you get with an Acme Marvel shoe. This is 100% handmade. The last and the patterns are really the hallmarks of what Acme brings to the table. They make some of the best and most equally balanced patterns as well as last. When you look at this, it's just a very well executed, the anatomical shapes along with the patterns on those shapes just really seem to blend very well together. And that's one of the big differentiating factors between entry-level handmade shoes and some of the higher price points with handmade shoes. These finer details really do go a long way in providing a cleaner aesthetic, and I think Acme delivers very well on that, even at their entry-level marble line. You know, this is their marble line shoe tray. It is unfinished. It fits very well. Overall, it's a very solid, quality feeling shoe tree. Can't really complain too much about it. Me personally, like, I much prefer a shoe tree that's very basic, that fits really well. You don't have to deal with any finishing on it. It just does exactly what it's supposed to. The one thing I will call out here, I'll talk about just a bit in the opportunities, is the handle that's on this. It's pretty noisy, and that kind of eliminates some of the refinement about the touch and feel of this pair of shoes, as you're always kind of hearing this clinkety clackety as you like hold the shoe with the shoe tree. But, you know, I'm kind of nitpicking, kind of not. I would much prefer a very basic, either like wooden handle or a solid metal one that doesn't rattle every time I touch the shoe. Talking about a few other opportunities, this one is something of kind of like anecdotal experiences that I hear from other folks, as I'm pretty like public about the fact that like I've worked with Acme in the past, collaborated on different projects, and therefore I get feedback about them. Potential clients or clients feel like they're not as responsive on Instagram, and I get it. It can be frustrating. What I would suggest is going to their website, their e-commerce site, and contacting them through their formal like contact channel there. That's definitely going to be a more reliable and kind of predictive way to get a response and get input from Acme whenever you have questions or concerns about an order or something you would like to order. The shoe trees, I did already mention this, but you know, if I could kind of conceptualize any shoe tree, it would definitely not make noise. So you know, I've given Acme feedback multiple times about different things, and every piece of feedback that I've given them, I genuinely feel that they've taken that to heart and implemented some type of enhancement or new iteration of whatever that feedback was about to address it, not just for me, but for their broader customer base. And that's really important to me. It's something that I can get on board with and I can support, and I can definitely have confidence in a shoemaker that is willing to take that feedback and make enhancements from it. Lastly is going to be the fit, mainly the fact that like this is their marble line. As I mentioned earlier, their marble line is really geared towards a broader audience. It's supposed to be easier fitting for a broader range of feet. And in doing so, when you only put one punch hole on the strap of a monk strap, it narrows down how many people that could fit. Not everyone's going to be like me and be comfortable putting a punch hole in a $950 shoe. So my suggestion would be to have at least 2 punch holes in each strap, ideally 3 punch holes in each strap. I think that's going to make it a much more improved customer experience if somebody can just take the shoe out of the box and find the appropriate punch hole to use to buckle their monk straps and be on their way. If you're familiar with the channel, you know that I am definitely a fan of Acme Shoemaker, and their marble range is no different. I can't hide that. I don't think it's bias. If you've paid attention at all during this video, you'll realize that it is a very high quality shoe. And when you're comparing it to their main line at over twice the price, it's very hard to argue with this value proposition. I would easily recommend the marble line or their main line, just depending on what your budget may be. I will tell you to hold on and wait for the next video in this series where I do a side-by-side comparison of Yearn, Acme, and Blazing Wonders, just to see if there may be a better value proposition out there for you based on what types of details and fitting elements are, you know, most important to you. If you made it this far into the video, I really appreciate it. Comment an emoji of your favorite animal below. It'll kind of be like an inside joke here between us. That way I know you actually made it this far into the video, and leave any questions or comments you have, and I'll prioritize replying to those over anybody else's comments. Also, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel and this video. That's really important to me and the channel. It helps me to continue to build these different collaborations and partnerships so I can bring new and exciting content to all of you that hopefully you benefit from and enjoy. Thanks again for all the support, and I'll see you soon.